Hi everyone. I was driving past the campus of a business school on my way to work the one day, and on this massive billboard facing the street there was this ad for the school which proclaimed, "If two of you are thinking alike, one of you isn't thinking." I've never forgotten these words, especially given that we currently live in an exciting time where it seems that everything that we thought we knew is being challenged. Ironically, given what we've come through over the past year, which has highlighted the need for new ideas and to do something different, it seems that for every new thought that one may dare to share, especially on social media, there's 1,000 comments tearing strips off you, because according to those posting the comments, your thought is wrong. In fact, it seems that we've become incredibly binary in our thinking nowadays. We view life in terms of absolutes, things that are either black or white, with no room for grey. And the sanctity and anonymity of our keyboards embolden us to defend our point of view as though our lives depend on it. Of course, as the old saying goes, the best form of defence is attack, which we do with great relish. Do unto others before they do unto you, so it seems. This past Sunday I took part in a church service in which we shared the story of Thomas, or Doubting Thomas as he's more popularly known. For those not familiar with the narrative, you'll find it in chapter 20 of John's Gospel. The women at the tomb have reported the news of Jesus' resurrection to the disciples, who don't exactly receive it with great enthusiasm. Having dismissed their news as wishful thinking, they are then shocked when Jesus appears before them. And as it so happens, Thomas wasn't with the others when they heard the news, so when he arrives and he sees this man purporting to be Jesus, he's skeptical. Of course, who wouldn't be? And yet the disciples, who themselves were dismissive of the women when they first shared the news, suddenly become a bunch of smart alecks when Thomas starts asking questions. How dare he have the temerity to doubt what they now know to be true? And thus the Doubting Thomas label is created, one that Thomas has been unable to shake for the next 2,000 years. And yet Thomas was not only a realist, he was also someone who could think for himself. He wasn't prepared to merely take the word of other human beings that Jesus had risen. He wanted to know. He wanted to see Jesus' wounds for himself. Yes, of course he had doubt. So did all the others. And yet he was the only one who had the courage to voice it. Now, of course, if this had taken place in 2021, Thomas would have probably shared his thoughts on Facebook, followed quickly by the rabid outpourings from thousands of keyboard warriors, not only attacking his honest questioning, casting aspersions on his integrity, but probably also denigrating his worth as a person. But not Jesus. When Jesus revealed himself to Thomas, he could well have said to him, just like he did to the disciples when they were fearing for their lives in the boat on the lake of Galilee during the storm, "You of little faith." But here Jesus didn't. Instead, Jesus honors Thomas's honest questioning by allowing him to feel the wounds. And once Thomas knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was Jesus standing before him, he fell down declaring, "My Lord and my God." Now this account teaches us many things, but for now I want us to focus on the boldness shown by Thomas in wanting answers and not being afraid to ask the questions. And instead of castigating Thomas, Jesus provides the safe space for Thomas to do so. But what about us? Especially those of us who have a little bit more mileage on the clock. We're living in a time where no one really knows what to believe, and there's a generation coming up that's questioning our values, our beliefs and our practices. To be honest, pretty much as we did with our own parents in the 80s and 90s, who in turn were doing the same with their parents in the 60s and 70s. And for those of you who are the new generation, wait until your kids start questioning you in 2035. And so the question is, how do we handle the questions? How do we deal with the doubt? Do we provide the safe space for these to be expressed, remembering that God blessed us with 2 ears and only 1 mouth for a good reason? Or do we rain down fire and brimstone in response to a line of questioning that makes us feel uncomfortable? Well, questions are meant to be uncomfortable. They're often what force us to stop and think about whether what we believe and how we conduct ourselves is beneficial or causes harm. If we just stopped for a moment and took a few deep breaths before bashing away on our keyboards, typing stuff that most of us would never have the courage to say to the person's face, perhaps we might see beyond the questions to the person who's doing the asking. Creating the space for the questions to be asked, honouring the integrity of those doing the asking, and being prepared to engage in dialogue with humility. And just like we see from the encounter between Jesus and Thomas, perhaps both sides can understand each other a bit better and grow through the process.